Yo, this is your man Don Calloway, chairman of the caucus room and your favorite politician. Now, y'all know I love my HBCU sweatshirts, but there's one brand that I like more than any other. It's Corin DeMarco. It's my absolute go-to HBCU apparel brand. I'm really a big fan of Corin DeMarco for several reasons. It's got that tailored, tapered fit that I really like. The actual sweatshirt is like super high quality, amazing weight to it, feel to the fabric. And it's got that clean, classic prep varsity look in the lettering that I really, really love. And of course, Corin DeMarco is a black-owned business out of New York City. One thing I really love about Corin DeMarco is that they make several different HBCUs, not just the big ones, and there's a bunch of different colorways, all of which are fly. And Corin DeMarco knows I've been rocking with them a long time on cable news, so they're doing something very special for all of the Caucus Room fam and subscribers. Go on the website, corindemarco.com/caucus room for 15% off of your first purchase. Again, that's corindemarco.com/caucus room for 15% off of your entire purchase. So check out corindemarco.com today for the best HBCU sweatshirts in the game, respect in every stitch, quality in every garment. And make sure to like and subscribe to every episode of the Caucus Room. See y'all soon.
See, politics influences policy,
For sure.
but there's still a game to be played.
There's
I
still a
think
game
that,
to be played, yeah.
and like I think that I'm always very cautious around it because I feel as a fellow advocate, I try not to make it seem so trivial
Yeah,
because
yeah.
a lot of this stuff is not trivial.
Yeah.
Like people, like I said, lives are at stake from healthcare to jobs. To labor issues to whatever, transportation. I mean, you name it. I mean, shit, people died. Infrastructure issues
sure.
around Baltimore. So like this is, like I said, it is to some degree the gamesmanship to it.
For sure.
But in other aspects it's not. But I mean, I would say from a CBC perspective, it is. It is gamesmanship. Now, I would say that though for sure.
I mean, but it's a real life industry, right? Like it's no different than you go to New York to participate in the world of banking or finance, or you go to LA to participate in film or content. But like, not everybody is an elected official in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's guys like there's lobbyists like me. There's guys like you who have done a number of different entrepreneurial things. And yeah, man, like you've seen, and not only have you seen the game, but you've created things and brought things to the game that are extraordinarily unique, right? Which makes your kind of place in this DC ecosystem worth talking about.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's good to be here.
Yeah,
man. The Caucus Room.
Yeah,
man.
welcome back to the Caucus Room.
Sure,
This
man.
is season 2, episode 1. So this is a little special episode. We do it a little more casually and call it the Sip. So we have a DC legend in the building, or actually outside the building this time. Cirilo Manego III has had a uniquely legendary run in Washington, D.C. And y'all know that we just try to explore all aspects of the politics game, from being an elected official to all the different ways you can participate. And this brother is lightweight a DC legend because he has done the game from so many different angles, so many of which I appreciate as an independent guy and entrepreneur.
Sure.
Cirilo, you have done it all in this space, and we're going to hopefully run through some of your career. It's CBC Week, so we want to talk a little bit about what CBC Week is for those of us who over the years have participated in the culture.
Yeah.
But let's start with, man, who's Cirilo Manego and how did you get to DC?
Bro, I think first and foremost, man, I'm just a kid from New Orleans.
Yeah.
From the Seventh Ward of New Orleans, man. I mean, born and raised there. Found my way to FAMU. So, I'm a beloved FAMU graduate, but also love of all HBCUs.
Yeah, yeah.
And, but it was because of my connection to really Mississippi that got, I'm trying to like maybe fast track this a little bit because I've been all over. But if it wasn't for Mississippi or the SIP, as some would say, I wouldn't be in DC, man. When I went to law school at Mississippi College, I had every intention on being a transactional lawyer.
Okay.
I was a corporate law track certificate and all, and legitimately it was that's why it's funny we having this conversation about CBC, because CBC is why I ended up coming to DC.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting point. So whether you're from Mississippi or Montana or New York, you can find your tribe of your locals here in DC, because
For sure.
every state of course has members, and then an ecosystem builds up around those members
That's right.
and those issues here in the DC area. But specifically, it's a group of black Mississippians here in DC.
Heavy.
It's a group of
Heavy.
It's a New Orleans crew here in
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah.
It's a New York City set here in DC.
Yeah.
And so you got with the Mississippi folks, and they sent you up this way after law school.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my boy Said, man. He with NAACP now. And I think that it's funny because a lot of core folks working in NAACP now are actually from Mississippi.
Oh, for sure. Derek
And,
Johnson.
Of course. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And they right out there from Jackson. And so, I went to law school in Jackson, Mississippi College. And when Said heard my speech to the Black Law Student Association as I was president, he's a past president.
Oh, wait. You was a Balsa president? We
Yeah.
skipped over that.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, man, historically.
Yeah, man. And well, I mean, for the record, I was actually the chapter president of the year for the Southern chapter, but no, for the Southern region. But I mentioned that because I invited him to come,
Yeah.
and he was like,
Wait, who said?
Cedric Haynes.
Okay.
And so Cedric was like, he's like, look, man, take my card. I'm probably not gonna be able to come. And Tiffany Page was my mentor, so he was speaking to Tiffany Page. And shout out to Tiffany too, man. I ran into her recently. I really do appreciate, man, Tiffany Page and all the things she's done for me.
Yeah.
In my legal career. But she said come to the to my quote unquote State of Union address to BOSA, which is the Black Law Student Association, R. Jess Brown chapter. And at the end, Said had his arm around me.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, hey man, I don't know what you plan on doing after law school, but you ever been to CBC? Now at the time, I didn't even know what CBC was.
Right.
I just say, what's CBC?
What years we talking?
This is 2015. So this would be my 10th year. This is my 10-year anniversary of CBC for me.
Wow. You've been in the game 10 years.
10 years.
Okay.
And at least in DC, yeah, man. And it was, at the time, Said was working for the Committee on Homeland Security on the House side.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also with Nicole Tisdale. They're both subcommittee directors. Said was over transportation security. You had Erica Woods that was over a subcommittee director. You had Nicole Tisdale was a counterterrorism intelligence.
DC staff legends.
Like staff legends.
So it's important to understand the context of like the names you're dropping. 2001, 9/11 happens.
Yeah.
And the United States Congress creates a Department of Homeland Security. Didn't exist before 9/11.
Ford building wasn't even thought of for the committee.
Never thought of. And that's important because our beloved Benny Thompson,
that's right,
the black congressman from Mississippi,
that's right,
is the first and only Democrat to ever chair that committee, the committee the House Committee on Homeland Security.
That's right.
And as a result, he brought his crew of staffers to leadership in this committee across the year for 24 years now, right? Since 9/11. And so you have a Mississippi contingent that's heavy in Washington, D.C.
Big time.
And heavy in Homeland Security spaces.
We go on and on. We are the same folks, man.
Yeah.
And, but, I mean, there's a lot of good people that came out of that committee
for sure
from Mississippi and still part of that committee to this day. And so, again, like, while I was born and raised in New Orleans, I give a lot of love to Mississippi because they took care of me when I first came to DC.
For sure,
so
for sure.
When and it really is funny. It kind of like segue. I mean, we have to talk about CBC, but my connection to Black with No Chaser, and then how we got started, and even that, me and CJ met when I was in law school in Jackson, and when we first met, CJ told me he didn't even have time for me. He was like, "Brian got no time for no law school student."
Yeah.
But he was a practicing attorney. He was hustling. So he was like, "Hey man, just take my number down." And but we finally crossed paths again, and in 2007 and 2017. So this November will be 8 years for us in existence, and 8 years now. And we've been cooking, man.
Yeah.
We touching millions of people across the world now, and got a ton of amazing things happening. We get to in a second, but I just want to. It's so funny, man, because the Mississippi culture and also just like the way the community wrapped their arms around me, man. I feel there's a level of indebtedness.
There
to the
is.
Sip for sure.
No doubt about it. I mean, so I talk about it all the time. Michael Collins, John Lewis's chief of staff, gave me a job in 2001. Everything from here goes back to that, right?
That's right.
And so I think about Benny Thompson. Shout out to the big homie, the OG Lanier Avant.
That's my dog.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I got.
yo,
how much time we got today?
Well, we got all you need. But this is important because a Benny Thompson happens. A Lanier Avant, legendary chief of staff, happens, but they had the courage to recruit and invite kids from Mississippi to work in these congressional offices, work in his committees, and grow careers out here. I think they saw in the early 90s when him and Maxine and Jim Clyburn and all them came to D.C., they saw the opportunities that we were missing out on by not building our staffs and empowering our people. And when Benny Thompson had the opportunity, he did that. And so shout out to him, shout out to Lanier. And I ain't gonna lie, before you came here, I didn't know that you was a product of that Mississippi family tree like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, so I cut my teeth there, and then I was a fellow with the Urban League and the Don Cravens, another legend.
Don Cravens,
I mean,
Louisiana.
Louisiana guy. And I remember I sat down with Don, because before I got my fellowship with them, and he brought me on, and he was like, Kyle Williams. I don't know if you know Kyle.
I know who he is.
The director of finance for Urban League Washington Bureau. And Kyle was like, hey, man, you know, if you're going to do this, you should ask for a 15-minute conversation from Don, but he's going to give you more than that.
Yeah.
But he's like, just ask for 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. So Ebony, who was his administrative executive assistant at the time, Ebony's also from Louisiana. And we get it. This is actually a theme here, y'all.
For sure.
Because this goes back to really what you said earlier about how there's always affinity groups of people you can like latch on to, and you come out of DC and find your tribe.
Yeah.
And in a way, I was lucky enough to like find my tribe and then them be good to me, but also be good to them at the same time, and like taking care of home, so to speak. And so, but that convo with Don, he told me he said, I'm going to give you 4 pieces of advice. And he said, the last one, I want you to hold on to it.
Okay.
And he said, look, Cirilo, DC is a tough place.
Yeah.
It's a tough place. He said, but I want you to know that like, everybody going to have to eat a little bit of, if you will.
Yeah.
If you're going to make it out here.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to make it, if you don't want to make it, then you might as well just pack it up right now.
Yeah.
If that's not your energy, it's to basically do what's necessary for your career.
You got to
and play the game. We talked about before we started recording is that it's a certain gamesmanship and the politicking you got to do.
Yeah.
And one thing about it is you're gonna go to a bunch of coffees.
Yeah.
With a lot of people you gonna forget.
Yeah.
You know, as a brother named Kevin, man. Kevin told me when I was like my first or second year in DC. He said, "Man, how you doing?" I remember this convo like it was yesterday. And he said, I said, "I'm doing all right." He said, "How's your networking going?"
Yeah.
I said, "Man, it's going."
Yeah.
He said, "You're doing a bunch of these things." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "How often do you go back and, figure out the people you met that you felt that you could speak candidly with, develop real deep relationships with? Have you gone back to any yet?" I said, "Well, it's been so many."
Yeah.
He said, "Bro, you need to pause on the coffees and start to go back and water some of them seeds that you've been planting." So that was another thing that I learned. I was like, man, because at first, I'm telling you, you go through the rigmarole of like meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and you think that that's actually improving your chances in DC. And while to some degree, yes, because it becomes a numbers game, but at some point,
no, you gotta have, you gotta water the seeds.
You gotta water the seeds. Yeah.
So you dropped Black with No Chaser. You are, I didn't say in the intro, I should have. You're a founder of Black with No Chaser.
One of the co-founders. Yeah.
Legitimate, independent media company. You guys have grown into something extraordinarily special.
Hey, man.
269,000 followers on IG. But
alone.
you touch IG alone.
Yeah.
But you're touching millions of people around the world with messages that kind of blend the issue awareness with the social. Tell me about what is Black with No Chaser and how did you get involved with it? Because you were there from the beginning.
Yeah, man. Black with No Chaser is interesting, man. Because initially, it was like a Facebook group. it was like 50, 60 people in that group.
Wow.
And they were just a lot of passionate people about black folks and black communities and black issues. And whether that was a cultural thing, whether it was a policy lane or kind of somewhere in between, we had it all, from social workers to constitutional lawyers to activists and advocates and people just wanted to write about black people and black culture
and think about it in a digital
way
space.
that in a way that you knew that there was a safe space for you. And
yeah.
The reason, like, you know, the whole Think Black and Live Black Unapologetically and you know, kind of moniker that we had coined was really like just a page from Toussaint L'Ouverture's book when he talked about what does it mean to like be black. Like, you know, the real definition in terms of like when Haiti gains its independence, it wasn't just about, he realized all skin folks and kinfolk. And it wasn't just about your hue, but also the way you think around black people and black communities, right? And how you speak on it. And then in return, like that your heart begins to move your hands and your feet. And eventually you do the work based on that value system. And so we got to work being, like, I would say, social media crusaders. And I say this to this day, we coined the first journalistic mixtapes. You know how Wayne back in the day would jump on everybody beat and have mixtapes.
The drought,
I mean, Squad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, drought 1, 2. I mean, you name it. That's legend, right?
For sure.
What we started to do is we would find articles that were either misrepresenting black folk. There was no representation. Or whatever it was, we would basically create, I guess we would start to write what the story should have sounded like on top of it. And that could have been CNN, Fox News, from progressive to conservative.
I like that, journalistic mixtape. Let me hop on this topic and tell you what I would have done. What should have been done to properly represent us.
And
that's a great idea.
And so we started doing that, and they started going viral. So then we looked up, man, look, I remember we only had like 9,000 likes or whatever it was, or followers on Facebook. And overnight, it went from 10,000 to 20,000 to 40,000 to 100,000 to 200,000. And like, I gotta talk about this post. This one post.
Wow. What year are we talking? Like, when do y'all get started and when does it start to blow up?
2017, we like started that group. So really it was the end. So it really wasn't until 18 where things started to like kick in. And then there was like a banana post.
Okay.
And it's a random post. But it had nothing to do with any journalistic mixtape or advocacy of any sort. It was just like, it was a comedy post by Leslie. And Leslie Macklemore is probably one of our more prolific writers. And he's an attorney. He's down in Atlanta now with his family, beautiful family. And but he's from the SIP too. And he wrote this post and it went, I mean, crazy viral. So then imagine waking up one morning with like 50,000 likes, and you wake up the next morning, it's like 250,000 followers. Like in a nanosecond. No, it's like, oh, we cooking. And so then, I mean, we just kept rolling and doing what we was doing, and then COVID happened.
Now everybody's inside.
Not everybody inside. So everybody's inside, like, you know, looking for something to do. And then so digitally, then that's when it just took off from not only a Facebook thing, and then Instagram went through the roof, and then Twitter went through the roof, and then Clubhouse entered Clubhouse. And then that went through the roof. We're leading conversations there. And then TikTok has found its little way. I mean, every platform we jumped on, it just became a thing.
Right. Is Clubhouse still a thing?
Man, I haven't been on it one day since I have no idea.
Clubhouse is interesting. It kind of came and went, but it had, you know, I ain't gonna say now they just garbage, but they definitely had a spark when they started.
Yeah, they did.
And I don't know, it doesn't seem as prominent as it once was. Right?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, folks are still on it. I mean, but now you got Threads and you got what is it, BlueSky now? That's like so, you know, we kind of moving more to BlueSky. I mean, obviously still, I think it's funny because, you know, a lot of folks, like, there was like departure from X, formerly known as Twitter, about like, hey, I don't want to support a platform, have an account on a platform. But if you think about like from using a term of art that James Baldwin was used as being a witness of the day,
Ooh.
you can't be a witness if you're not like in the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you gotta be in the
yeah.
mix. And so we knew for us that yeah, we can say, all right, well, we're not gonna be on Twitter, but at the same time though, there are people on Twitter that we still gotta pay witness
That's
to
right.
because they're obviously saying things about our communities that may either impact it adversely or
That's right.
positively, right? And we got to make sure we bring the info back to our community. So there's a
folks.
duty
Mhm.
from a media perspective. Now I understand if you just kind of on there
Yeah.
as a personal account and you don't want to attach yourself to that. Fair enough. I mean, I think I took my account down from X and then moved over to Blue Sky. Now I'm not really I've never been a tweeting kind of person anyway, so there's
Yeah.
really no harm, no foul for me.
Right.
But from a media perspective, I think that there's a benefit to that, and we always want to make sure that we stay on the beat. And I think from a journalistic perspective, like that's always going to be a necessary thing to do, and to
Right.
have.
So, Black with No Chaser, you're 8 years old. Now you've got the attention of certainly the politically minded community, but so many more folks nationwide and even worldwide.
Yeah.
What's the plan for it? What are you guys trying to do today and into the future?
Man, so we just actually launched BWNC Institute, which is our 501c3. And what we're going to start doing with that is truly more educational pieces and programmatic stuff on the ground in various cities.
Okay.
Obviously, Mississippi and really the coast being the first kind of staple
Yep.
in that. We already have an actual place of business for that. We have began to make the necessary contacts and connections to when we do begin the programmatic side of BWNC Institute that we are ready to go. And that's from a digital education perspective, where we're looping in this thing called DEEP, which is called a digital education advancement program for, and this is really trying to close that digital gap or divide between our communities and the folks that are in the haves. Really.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And so that's a big, important piece of what we want to do. But I think that from an advocacy standpoint, from our BWNC news and our radio, we want to make that more of a focal now. So really, I think what people have to get a chance to look forward to is more like a revamp or a relaunch of what is Black with No Chaser.
Right.
I think the website and what you'll see now is more of a lifestyle approach. We're going to start segueing our news to BWNC News,
Okay.
and our advocacy and policy, kind of work into BWNC Institute itself.
Got you. So you are one of the great social entrepreneurs of Washington, D.C. Run through all of the things you've been able to have your hands in since you were on the Hill, right?
Yeah.
Which was so long ago.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things I love about this town and frankly this game. There's not a individual path that you have to follow. You can kind of participate if you keep your relationships
That's
up,
right.
you treat people well, you act with integrity. There's a way that you can participate in a multitude of things, all of which are here, right?
Yep.
CBC Week is this week. You got the
yeah.
the nightlife, which is kind of all year long. You've got the social stuff. You've got journalism. You've got new media. You've got Hill and policy chops. How did you know all this was available to you, man? And give me a rundown of some of the different things you've done out here in the name of playing this game.
Man, I really didn't know it was available. I think that when I got to DC, I came with a very kind of eyes wide open and just ready to kind of take on whatever DC could offer.
Yeah.
As a policy perspective, legislative standpoint. I mean, that's all I really knew to begin with. But I knew that deep down, I wasn't going to be there long.
Yeah.
And even when I went to the Urban League and I did some NGO work for a little bit, I just knew that there was more to it. And I remember, and that's all I always encourage people to go to panel discussions, because sometimes you'd be like, I'm another panel discussion.
Yeah.
But if it was a sister, I forget her name, but she was a lawyer, and she did digital advocacy, and it was at Netroots in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I just by happenstance went into her panel discussion because I saw what they were talking about, and I was like, oh, this seems like something that I'm already doing. I maybe I might hear some and get a word and not take it with me.
Right.
And I remember after what she was talking about was how you basically form arguments on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
Yes.
make that happen? And at
Yes.
the time, though, that
Yeah.
was like a new thing.
That's a thing. Yeah, it was a new thing. Someone has put time into thinking about not just tweeting and not just saying smart stuff, but like, let me figure out how to trigger the algorithm to get maximum engagement while still getting my point across to the audience I want to.
Within
Like,
a 200,
Yes.
140 character
Yes.
limit, but piece it together.
That's
and
right.
So I beelined it. She was like, everybody's crowding around her, and I waited my turn to actually speak to her. And I said, hey, look, I feel like there's some connectivity with your background and my background. I said, I'm a lawyer, and I said, I really appreciate the way you were moving through advocacy right now. I'm trying to find my space on like what's next for me.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I did a bunch of retail politics before I started doing more digital work. And this is all simultaneously happening while BWNC is like growing.
Yeah.
So I'm building my chops up in different directions, getting pulled in different directions because I done been on bus tours, man, to help save the Affordable Care Act, 2 of them around the country. Man, I did a bunch of healthcare advocacy and build fellowship programs, whether it be in Virginia on HBCU campuses or down in Florida and Binghamton in New York. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
Like, also done a bunch of IE work.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
like,
and that's the interesting thing.
it's just like, it's a ton that, like, I mean,
when I talk to guys like you, guys like Shaka Burgess, the veterans, right? And you're a younger vet, but you're in that space now. You have an opportunity to do this work nationally while still being based in DC. You get with various organizations who are running IEs as independent expenditure.
That's right. Sorry about that.
You got campaign work, right? That can take you all around the country, but you have the opportunity to be based here, kind of get deployed for various causes at different times over the course of your career, get paid for it, but you're building that national network by working with real people who are out there in the field, outside of the Beltway bubble doing the thing, right? It sounds like you've done that a little bit.
Yeah, man. I think that, like, people may not always remember what you did for them, but they damn sure gonna remember how you made them feel.
That's right.
And when you on the road and you doing retail politics, a lot of grassroots organizing, and you come to somebody's city and town and you don't know anybody and you trying to make friends, I mean, you got to figure out how to do that like ASAP.
Yes.
When you advancing that work of the team that's got to come after you, and then either it's gonna be some really, really, really good feels about the campaign, or it's gonna be some like, y'all better not step foot in my town.
That's right.
And you start developing that skill set, but as you're doing it, you're building up contacts.
That's right.
And those contacts are your contacts.
That's right. And every city has its group of politicians.
For
right?
sure.
They just don't live in DC.
That's right.
And they have their group of folks who are doing the work behind of course every city has a mayor and the elected officials and the state reps, but there is a smaller ecosystem in every city of the people. Like, I wouldn't do business in New Orleans without calling Telly. Like, you gotta call Telly. You gotta call Telly in New Orleans. He's the guy.
Telly. You gotta call Telly. If you don't know Telly, then you probably not in touch with the right folk. And there's a couple of the folks I won't even name because they
That's right.
They move in silence in certain cities, and so when you know them, you in a good.
When you know them, you know them.
You're in a good space, and that's another thing too, though. You gotta.
And there's that crew in every city.
Every city, man. I ran comms for the city of Baltimore, and the same difference is that, like, no matter where you go, there's an inner city kind of politics to everything you do, and DC is no different, right?
Yes.
Because there's like, and then people ask questions. Well, how do you get in the inner sanctum of that?
Yeah.
Now that to me is a tough one, because I feel like a lot of times this reminds me of the Virgil Abloh interview. When Virgil was like, everybody wants to be at the top. Everybody wants to be the couture. Everybody wants to be the Louis V person that's working with, or whatever you feel like is the top of the food chain in your industry. But, like, nobody really talks about the lateral movements you need to make in kind of building your own, like, team and ecosystem around you to be the next whoever in that city. And so while you may find yourself, because I'll tell you this, I'll be straight up. I don't necessarily consider myself a Hill person, but people believe me to be a Hill person. That's right. But I don't have the same type of contacts or as intimate contacts as a lot of Hill people have.
That's right.
So I feel like I'm Hill adjacent.
I'm Hill adjacent. I never worked on the Hill.
I'm Hill adjacent though.
I said at the beginning of that, I said Michael Collins gave me a first job. Yes, but that was an internship, right?
Yeah, I was an extern on the Hill.
That's right. And so there is a way, and I have tremendous respect for guys like yourself who did it without that LA to LC to LD to chief. You know what I mean? And there is a path. It might even be a little bit harder, right? Because when you're on the Hill, you're embedded in that universe, in those 6 buildings, right? And you have to meet people even if you don't want to.
That's right.
But man, when you got to kind of get it out the mud, like truly from the outside,
it's different. And and I think that, like, it's funny because I think, you know, sometimes I be in these rooms and they be like, I don't know, they look at me like, how did I get here?
Like, how did you get here?
How did you get here? I built up this resume in DC. I went through the gauntlet of the Hill, and how are we still in the same rooms? And I think that really, like, it doesn't matter how you get anywhere. Like, if you get there, you get there.
You got there,
And I think that that's the beauty about DC is, like, there's opportunities galore. And if you played it, now you talk about this game, right? And we getting a little bit later because I think we still got to talk about CBC.
We're gonna get
but
there.
there's a gamesmanship to, like, and I think some people naturally have it, and some people just don't. And I think that, to answer your question about getting on the insider politics, so to speak, is like, one, can you be trusted? You know, a lot of times, like, people, you know, it's not just about being an ally. It's about, like, hey man, this is a space where trust is, like, paramount. And you know, you deal with a lot of people's, like, you know, I don't want to say secrets per se, but it's like a
sensitive information.
And that
it's,
you're dealing with, for sure.
We're working on stuff. It's fun and it's social, but you're ultimately working on stuff that you think makes a difference in people's lives, right? And they have to believe that you have the good intentions for the communities that we're served.
That's right.
I have noticed that if I think about how you did this, you have an extraordinary universe of affiliations. And I think that's something that can help you, particularly when you don't come from the Hill, right? You went to FAM. I mean, it's a hell of a FAM mafia here in this town, right? You're from New Orleans. There's a New Orleans mafia. There's a Mississippi crew, and you were plugged into them. You practice law. Balsa. Huge, right? Huge universe of
Balsa
affiliation.
was huge when I first came out here, man. Like, I really leaned on my Balsa network. You know, I created group me's for my Balsa network in DC. And so, I mean, I think that's what I'm saying. I think too, though, I think one of the things is, and I don't know if I was something I took from someone, whatever, but I think organizing your own thing and being consistent, and being able to hold court, and however that looks like for you in that moment, it could be 5 people that's willing to come to your thing, and then you can consistently do that and deliver on a particular, like, work product.
That's right.
And over again. I think that that's a key piece to, like, making it in a town like DC.
That's right.
Because and that's the reason why, even when we started, like, I started doing CBC events. It's like, no matter if I lost a little money or broke even, like, on events, it wasn't about making money. It's about saying that, like, hey man, like, we got a little juice. We could pull some people over here.
That's right.
We can do a thing. And I think that, like, you know, part of the play is like, can you hold court? And I think that inability to get to a status at least in DC space, you got to start somewhere. Everybody want to be like the person that's going to be doing the big events, and, you know, I call all Ben Branches of the world that throw all the CBC parties now. But, like, Ben started from somewhere.
I mean, it's Sunday, so there's always a word that's in the Bible. Do not despise the small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
That's right.
Like, if you're doing something righteous, right, and if you're a good dude doing something that adds value to the culture, that's cool. Because, you know, one other thing is there's so much turnover in DC, not only on the Hill, but in the town. Right? People come and go. With a little bit of consistency, you can own your lane really quickly.
I was just somebody. Man, it's funny. I just saw somebody 8th Street Festival, and it was like my 10th 8th Street Festival. And I don't think I missed one yet.
Shout out to 8th Street. That's one of the greatest things. It gets a little packed out there during the height of it, but it's a lot of fun. And you can find all your black artists there.
You look, man, look, I don't care, from karaoke to go-go bands to maybe one of the local homies rapping to some singers or whatever it is. They got second line. Whatever you want to find, 8th Street Festival, you're going to find it.
It's all there.
I promise you. And we were talking about it. We was like, damn, man, like, we stuck around.
Yes.
Like, we stuck around, man. And it's a decade in DC is
It's a lot of time.
It's something to be said about lasting in DC.
Yes.
And but man, DC is home.
Yeah.
I love DC, man.
So let's talk about CBC Week. This is CBC Week, right? The Congressional Black Caucus's annual legislative conference. It is a substantive policy conference.
Yes, it is.
Put on by the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation each year.
Yes, it is.
In which the members of the caucus come together, talk about the issues that they, their pet projects, their pet issues, and different substantive matters that they want to educate the black community about. It is a annual political learning conference. It is also
Black Homecoming.
Black Homecoming.
Let me say this again.
Yes.
It is the Black Homecoming. So if you've never really been to a Black Homecoming, HBCU Homecoming, if you come to CBC, I promise you, whether or not you come every year, but you're going to find a way to make it back, whether it's every other year, every 3 years. It's just a special place, I think, in time. And for folks that have discovered CBC, I feel like, we really don't talk enough about CBC outside of CBC.
That's right.
It's not like because we just trying to keep it a secret. I just feel like not enough of us know about CBC if you don't work in politics.
I think that's right. Well, I don't know. I mean,
some kind of advocacy work or something like that. I mean,
I think that might have been the case not long ago, but now I think it's very much Black professional homecoming, right? Such that people know that you're going to have, if you're a white collar Negro, you know what I'm saying?
You're going to find a way to CBC.
You're going to find a way to CBC. Yeah. And that's not necessarily just for politicians, but in some way, you're kind of coming because whatever you do is touched by policy, right?
Everything.
And it's touched by the political types. And your crew, the Black doctors have their party. The various state caucuses have. Talk about CBC after 2 p.m. after the brain trusts, right? What happens from 2 p.m. to 3 a.m. from Wednesday through Saturday night?
Okay, so let me back up real quick. First of all, CBC used to only be Wednesday or Thursday to like Saturday. It is now like a full-fledged week.
Yes.
We have parties starting now on Sunday.
Today.
Yeah. Right now, as we speak, at 11:57 a.m., there's a party about to start right now.
And I don't like that. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out for that.
I'm not going to those.
Okay.
Now for me though, we Social Golf Association, which is another association that we started here in DC, is we brought Congressional Black Caucus members to Langston Golf Course.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is, I believe, in the namesake of the former member of Congress who basically lobbied in Virginia to get Langston Golf Course.
Wow.
And so, historically, Langston has his place not only in golf, but in politics.
Absolutely.
And
one of the oldest public golf courses.
1937.
1937, specifically for blacks.
Absolutely.
In the country. Beautiful, amazing place. Best breakfast in town.
Come on, dog. Hey, if you never been to Langston Golf Course and got you a bacon, nigga, cheese sandwich, man, come on down right here to
Great
DC.
pancakes.
And look, solid. But, with my member from my hometown, Congressman Troy Carter, he came back. He was the chair of CBC last year. And I'm going to say CBC ALC and not the, obviously it's different. Right. But he was the chair, so he actually took a ceremonial tee shot. He's coming back this year to do the same thing for us.
Nice.
But he was the first member of Congress to step foot on Langston Golf Course, at least to my knowledge, in over 2 decades.
Wow.
So bringing that back and making more history in DC is important, man. And we was able to get Wake Robins, which is the oldest black women's USGA certified golf club in DC, and also the Royal, which is the oldest black male golf club in DC, and they basically were erected or formed at the same time Langston was formed. So in early 1930s, they literally seen Langston,
Yeah.
they raised it up themselves. And so we brought them back to the golf course to be a part of that ceremonial tee shot. So it was a good moment, good
Yeah.
feel, good moment
Yeah.
for golf, for DC, I think for CBC as well.
So we'll get back to CBC. Social golf is another thing that you're a co-founder of.
Yeah.
You brought to the game, didn't exist before. What is Social Golf Association?
So what is Social Golf Association? Man, first and foremost, is a USGA certified golf club.
That's what's up, man.
I make the distinction because
That's what's up.
because there's a lot of golf clubs.
There's a lot of golfing buddies out there.
Yeah,
But yes.
I liken this to like tequila and agave spirits.
Yeah.
You know, tequilas have a NOM number, NOM, and you know we are like a tequila.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of clubs that are just agave spirits, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And y'all could golf together, but we are USGA certified.
Yeah,
And so, but the reason why we did that is because we didn't want to necessarily be a member center in a way that we are constantly doing stuff for members all day long.
Yeah.
But what we did was, or still want to do, is house handicaps to get us and anybody in general coming to the game of golf with the handicap. Because the first thing somebody's gonna ask you is, "What's your handicap?"
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And you can be like, I'm kind of a 10 or I'm kind of a 20. It's either you got a handicap
Or you don't.
right?
Yeah.
And that also can be create barriers to entry for other folks who want to get in the game, because if you ain't got a handicap, you can't even play in certain places, in certain tournaments. And so we want to start there, but I think eventually we got this thing called Range Night, which has exploded.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've seen it, but we brought 400 people to the range recently.
Yeah.
400 majority black folk to the range at Langston Golf Course.
You've been in town for all this time. How did you know that there was a space for you to create
Didn't know it.
a golf club out
Didn't know
of
it.
the people that you were meeting?
Nah, bro. I think. Look, sometimes like you think like, oh, and we need this, or I think just doing it. Like, I mean, like people wait often, like to like I gotta wait for the right moment, or I gotta feel this space out. I'm like, how are we gonna just do it?
Yeah.
And in 2023, like we just
Start by getting started.
start by getting started, and I
Yeah.
think from there, like we had all these grandiose ideas what we're gonna be doing, but then this year in May we did Range Night at Langston, and that has taken
Yep.
I mean literally taking the golf world by storm. Eastside Golf has reached out, interested in working with us.
Yeah.
Man, we had folks from the USGA and MSGA reach out, want to work with us. We were looking to do some work out there with my boy Chill Moody in Philly.
Mhm.
We got some folks down in Chicago, Atlanta.
Roger Steele,
looking
my boy Roger Steele, you know?
man, look, we know Raj, and then you know we got we about to do some really good stuff in the district. I can't talk
Okay.
about this very moment, but it's really gonna bring golf to each ward.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So instead of, and this
Yeah.
is talking about, people talk about making the game accessible. We about to bring literally golf to every ward.
all
in
8
DC.
wards. That's right. That's
All
right.
8 wards. And so that's going to be coming in 2026. We got some huge projects, man. I'm super excited about every SGA makes me realize like how you can do a lot of things and then take all those skill sets. Like we talked about how like, you know, doing this and doing that and finding ways. I always want to find something I think that like I can transfer all my skills into.
Yeah.
I think golf has really allowed me to do that.
that's the synergy of all the things.
It's a synergy, man,
Yeah.
from comms to politics
Yeah.
to we can still do advocacy work through
For
our
sure.
organization, through our 501c3. We have a fairway fund that we about to stand up, which is essentially going to be subsidizing golf for youth golfers, but also people, you know, minority golfers or people that are from disadvantaged communities
Yeah.
trying to get into the game that can't pay entry fees, that,
That's right.
that need some hotel nights covered, that need a flight cover, whatever it is, right? All those things become quite expensive
Yep.
to a golfer trying to like stay in the game, and we need this fairway fund is going to be doing just that pretty soon in 2026. And so and we're looking to do a big raise. I'll call out right now. I mean, we don't want to just raise 1 million or 2 million. I think we want to be in that $50 million mark
Right.
of raising funds and having a nice a kind of nestle egg on what we can do and make a really, really vast impact on the game of golf.
Man, you Evener Zamar and
Yeah.
he's got the Flag Football League,
PBF Sports.
PBF Sports, they've got the Kickball League. I think it's
They
all
had
in
it
the
all.
same
Golf,
umbrella.
they started the golf leagues. I mean,
Yeah.
look, people don't talk about like the group that we have and the amount of pioneering and trailblazing that has been done. I mean, I can not just in the golf space. I can look at Cam and hip politics.
Yes.
I can look at like Terrence Woodbury and like his polling. I mean, we can and it would hit strategies. I should say. I mean, even from what you're doing and been doing, right? I mean, like we can go down a laundry list of people that have been culture barriers. And allowing not barriers, but I'm sorry, barriers, in terms of like really finding ways to build community, and that's not just in politics and like, but using the work that we have done, the skill sets we have to kind of build those other communities, and like, and so this goes back to what we said about how does anyone come to this point. I think that's just a matter of like doing, man.
That's
like people like again, you try to like don't let the perfection be the enemy of good. And I think that I try to every day, even though I can sometimes like want it to be perfect, but like you gotta give and just still do. Like if Chris Paul said, like thin slice the day or stack the days. Be 1% better. And I just want to continue stacking days on day after day. And I know if you keep waking up, become 1% better. Then slice it a little bit, man, and then eventually, brother, you going.
Man, you've put together quite the run out here, man, and I'm so proud to have watched it from a distance. Let's get back to CBC
though,
really quickly, just because it's a CBC, and I'm gonna beg for my man Mood to edit this so we can get it out just in time. A lot of young fellas watch us, 22 to 30s.
So 2 p.m.
I want to know. I want to know after 2 p.m., but I want to know
after 4, really.
After 4, that's
after
right.
4.
Give me your best advice for the young brother who's got his tailored suit game together. He's coming out to whether you're a first timer or a CBC vet. Give me some pro tips on how to have a good, solid run for 2025 ALC.
My guy, first. Call somebody in DC if you know anybody. Just call them and see. Just like if you could just at least get the list of events, I think you head in the right direction.
That's
now,
right.
Does that list mean that you gonna be at the best of the best parties?
Probably not.
Probably not.
That list doesn't get you into Art Collins's brunch.
No, it don't get you in some of the exquisite watch parties they have on. That some of those things you won't. That's not your party.
That's right.
That won't be your space because that is just limited space in general. But there are parties out there you can definitely get into. And what I would say is that you probably, if you just getting this, if you just hearing this, the sound of my voice right now, you're probably a little bit late on CBC tickets.
This year.
But for next year, the earlier the better. I would say that usually that list probably starts dropping around sometime beginning of September, right around Labor Day, that list will drop.
Yes.
That's the time when you want to begin to move quickly. RSVP to everything.
Yes.
Your calendar should be crowded.
It should be full.
And figuring out where you want to go. But I would say is, man, for the folks that's been out here already, you got a good mouthpiece. You can find your ways.
That's right.
Look, to all my friends out there, they call me, Cirilo, can I get in these parties? Look, man.
Yeah, I don't
have the wide latitude to get every single person I know into a CBC event.
That's right.
So, I would just say that if you got a good friend that can get into some good parties and you party of one, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. And that's the thing, like
you can't be party of 5, bro.
No, you can't. You can't.
Hard,
5 dudes that you all brought from back at the crib.
You gotta split up. You gotta
split up. You gotta divide and conquer. I would also suggest though, you gotta get here and get on the ground.
Gotta get on the
ground. Get in the mix, right? You might be a lawyer or a doctor. There's gonna be parties for your crew. There's going to be parties for people from your region. There's going to be receptions for your hometown congressman.
Oh yeah, hometown. Look, that's a great point you put out. Point you pointed out. Go to your members of Congress office from your hometown. Yes. They got tickets. They probably still got them right now. If you in town early, it's a Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
I will go around to offices that got certain parties. All these CBC members to say, "Hey, look, I'm in town. I need a ticket." They may have one for you.
But they have something you want to go to.
Oh, for sure. They got something.
And just go to something, right? And bounce from there. If you go to something, if you come to town and get in the mix, you're gonna find the next thing, even if you're just kind of largely following the crowd or following a familiar face, right?
I was in the two though, man. Look, Wednesday is probably, I feel like, when the real party starts.
Time to get started.
Time to get started. I would say, Wednesday you got Plaskett event, right, and Congressman Clark's event, which is the Caribbean party.
Yes.
So that's a 12 to 2. That's a lunch session. They own that Wednesday in that space, so it's like that's they date, right?
Yeah, man. The coconut they come out on Wednesday night. That's their night.
That's their night.
Yeah.
But after that, on Wednesday, man, you got the light parties gonna be happening. So that's a big energy.
The energy companies.
Energy companies will be doing their Wednesday thing, right? And then from there, Thursday. I mean,
wait. So in my day, is this still a thing? Wednesday night was ladies' night out, so that belongs to Nicole Venable.
They got a ladies' night out part. It still happens.
Yeah. G&O, girls' night out, right?
Girls' night out. That's right. It still happens, and it happens the same time as the light party.
That's
so
right.
Some of these things now, though,
you got some conflicts.
and you will have to pick and choose.
That's right.
You either gonna be girls' night out. You gonna say, you know what though, I want to be around some energy folks, and I'm gonna be in the energy space. So you got that.
Yeah.
Now you ain't gonna be able to be everywhere.
That's right.
But I think that a good night, if you could do 2 events a night. And there's sometimes you can probably eke out 3 if you do like an early 5 o'clock.
Earlier reception, yeah.
And then 5 to 6, and then maybe do another. Because you got, Benny Thompson's event usually on Friday, Catfish.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
At the Eyebowl building.
That's right.
Every year.
Thursday night, you got The Nation.
The Nation with Ben Branch and the folks. So you got
Ben
that.
Branch.
That's probably going to be at the Wharf this year.
Shout out to The Nation. The Nation, I'm almost reluctant to say their names out loud. A lot of The Nation moves in silence. The Nation how would you describe The Nation? True OGs in the game.
Yeah, that's like, man.
Lobbyists, businessmen.
Yeah, The Nation is like, I don't even really know. It's funny. I don't even know much who's behind The Nation. So I can't even, I just know The Nation.
I know that on Thursdays, if you are who you're supposed to be, if you have conducted yourself like a Cirilo Manego over the years, at some point on Thursday afternoon, somebody will find you with some type of special token for the year.
Then you get to the Nation party.
And you get into the Nation party.
Yeah, somebody called me the other day and was like, hey, man, I need a ticket to the Nation party. I said, look, man.
Hey, well.
That's not. Look, man.
You don't ask to get into the Illuminati.
I technically don't even have my own ticket
to
the Nation party. Now, will I have my ticket?
Probably so.
Probably so.
I expect that somebody in the ecosystem will find me on Wednesday or Thursday.
For sure. Hey, man, you got a ticket yet? Oh, no, I didn't get mine yet, man. I didn't get it yet. Oh, Thank you. So look, a lot of folks I be carrying tickets in my pocket.
Yes.
So the right person walk up on me, I got extra tickets.
I got that for you. Yeah.
But again, this is all political capital. Mm-hmm. This is all trying to figure out. Like, I'm planning to play the game
too.
Though.
That's right.
And we're going back to the game. There's some gamesmanship to CBC, man,
right.
and I feel like I enjoy it every year it rolls around, man. And I don't go as to many things now.
Yeah.
I've been married for 2 years now. I got a little one, so it's like, and they're sitting here, my wife Megan and my daughter Michaela, and I think that, because of that, though, it kind of slows you down and makes you kind of like be a bit more surgical with the time you're doing it. But I think that also being in the game, I have friends that are still doing it. So out of respect,
for sure,
I go out and support.
You got to go out and support. Listen, I want to sit right here on most evenings, CBC or otherwise. Yeah, right? I want to be here with my kids. You want to be with your lovely family. But I have to support Ben Branch, a true OG in this game.
Ben got me started. So for me not to go to a Ben Branch party, now I ain't coming to every party.
Not everyone, because he's got an enterprise these days.
Yeah, he got 5, 6 parties going on. I can't make it every one, but the ones that I know that like, these are the marquee ones, or the ones that you say, hey, Rillo, man, I need you to kind of show face over here.
Yeah.
Then of course. So that's just.
I'm gonna put Ben Branch on the CBC Hall of Fame. Like the CBC Mount Rushmore.
Bro, I mean, he built the CBC pack. I mean, they really would. I mean, before
in
CBC
a real way.
pack wasn't even a thing. And we talked about this. Like, before that became a thing, he took on the gig.
Yes.
He's like, I'm going to build it up.
Yes.
And
yes, he did.
And he did that. And so, again, like, I would definitely put Ben on the staffer side of CBC, Mount Rushmore of like doing. I mean, you can't really talk about CBC right now without talking about Ben Branch.
You can't, man. Ben Branch has found a way. Came out of Meeks' office.
That's right.
New Yorker, my good frat brother. But the thing about Ben, even before he became like this incredible social entrepreneur, Ben treated everybody with integrity. Ben returned everybody's emails. Ben was just the kind of dude that you liked and you knew and you could trust. So he had tremendous amounts of goodwill, right, in the community. Because ultimately, I know I sound like a broken record sometimes, but this is a community, right?
Yeah.
And you can come here from anywhere in the world and participate in it. And Ben is one of the guys who has participated, played the game as well as it can be done, right? From a social perspective, as well as doing the business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that and that you talk about that CBC Pack position, that really set him up.
Yes.
For the second half of his career.
CBC Pack, break that down so people understand what that means.
Okay, so all right, there's the CBC, which is what the members are a part of. That's the caucus, in Congress.
Yes.
Then there's the CBCF, which is the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, which basically houses the internship and fellowship program. Then there's CBCI, which is the Congressional Black Caucus Institute, which my former boss, Benny Thompson, Congressman Thompson, is Mississippi Policy Institute. Now, they do a lot of other things, but the Mississippi Policy Institute, which happens right around the second weekend of August every year,
Tunica.
In Tunica, Mississippi. And if you haven't been, you should definitely go at least 1 year to see what Tunica is all about. It's a special place.
Yeah.
In CBC kind of like
it is
ecosystem.
A miniature, extremely miniature, but highly attended, well attended. Mini CBC preview.
Oh, it's definitely a preview. It's definitely a preview, and it's one of the only places where I think you can engage with members where they let their hair down, so to speak, more than any other place I've ever seen.
That's right.
I've never seen it. So I would say that if you've never been to CBC, Mississippi Policy Conference in Tunica, I would say go at least one time.
That's right.
And then there's of course, the CBC PAC. Which is a political action committee, and that is essentially, their way of funding members' campaigns, right?
Yes.
So CBC members' campaigns. So that's their PAC. That's how they do their political work, and they do that through so that's the different four.
Yes, that is the four
pillars of the CBC ecosystem. So again, we got the CBC, CBCF, CBCI, and then CBC PAC.
CBC PAC. And Ben Branch was the guy who really took the him and OG Tony from Alabama, tall, older brother.
Yeah. I met Tony before.
What's Tony's I forgot Tony's last name, OG. But Ben Branch was the guy who really dedicated his professional career towards building the CBC PAC, getting the corporate donors, getting the individual donors to give to not just the DSCC, not just individual members, but to give to this PAC so we can grow the membership of the Congressional Black Caucus. And,
which is at 60 now.
Which is at 60 people. And look, when I got to town, it was 38. I got to town because of the CBC Foundation internship, and there was one intern per CBC member, and it was 38. Today it is 60. And a lot of that traces back to the money and the efforts that Ben Branch was able to put into the game.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I mean, so I think that it just goes to show you that if you got the energy, you got the willingness to build community and to make deposits in said community. I think it's a key piece. Like, people come to DC and will get so transactional, but it's hey man, you might spend 2 years making a bunch of deposits. You might spend 3 years making deposits, but maybe in that fourth year, you finally hit your stride.
That's right.
But never forget that the turtle didn't get put on the fence by itself. Somebody put that turtle there. We are all turtles to some degree, and I always make sure that's at the forefront of my mind when I'm giving back, or somebody that helped me reaches out to me, and I'm gonna pick up their phone. There's certain people that call my phone right now.
Yes,
that I will pick up 100% of the time,
all day,
all day long. Why? Because they've been good to me, but I've also seen how good they've been to people, and which is probably more important to me because it's like we're all in connection to one another, and I want to be around people that's about helping people.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. A few more minutes left, man. So I want to get into what do you don't do this week during CBC.
All right. Oh man, what do you not do? This is actually probably I would say what you don't do, and this may sound terrible, is don't spend all your time at the conference, like at the convention center. Not all of it. I mean, you want to make that conference make sense for you.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you don't like running around. I feel like it's like the person that just got to school and they got their roller bag and they like rolling around trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, really look at that. Do not come to especially your first time. Do not come to CBC ALC Week and not take a peek at the agenda.
That's right.
You want to be surgical in your approach to CBC. That's for me. I
agree with that. And it's again, it is a substantive policy conference. I think you owe it to the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation.
That's right.
To show up at some point in the convention center and go to something, right? Because the whole social life is built around that, right? It's an appendage to that. And oh, by the way, you're going to learn something. You're going to meet people you didn't know. You're going to meet professionals who you can possibly build and work with. So I think you got to do that. One thing I would say, I don't know if I would say this is a do or a don't. So I'll ask you, you're a pro. Is CBC Week the time to shoot your shot?
Well, I mean, what shots we shooting?
What shots we shooting? That's
right.
That's right.
Now, let's say from a professional level, I would say it depends on how the conversations go. If you feel like it's an appropriate time to shoot your shot on a professional level, in terms of like you want a gig or you trying to find your way to DC, I mean, because I would tell you that I did that.
Yeah.
I felt it was right. I spent enough time in that weekend with certain folks on the committee, and I was like, hey. At the last little event, I felt like, hey, let me make sure I solidify my relationship now, because when I get back to Mississippi, I got to be on the horn in this email, cranking out resumes and doing follow-ups. Now, from an actual, from the single folks out there, I think that you should use your discretion. Because, at the end of the day, some people really do come out here from a professional standpoint and want to keep it that way. And so, be respectful. May the odds be forever in your favor.
In your favor.
That's what I would say. But I'm never going to tell single folks what to do because, single people do what single people do.
They do what they do.
Hey, man.
I'll tell you. So I'll say from 5 p.m., let's just talk about the afternoon to the evening. You want to pace yourself.
Oh, my God.
You want to pace yourself.
And not just in the night.
Right.
But you understand, if you get here on a Wednesday and you intend on lasting through, let's say, Saturday, that Wednesday you're going to come out the gate hot.
Yes.
I know you are.
Yes.
I would say maybe relax on Wednesday a little bit.
One event on Wednesday.
Yeah, do a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe do it. Maybe you get in, do a 6 to 9 event. They got a bunch of those out there.
That's right.
They got some 7 to 10 event. And that's probably, or they got maybe a 7-11. You do that, that should settle you into the conference, man. Wake up, right. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed the next day, be ready to
Thursday.
go.
Yeah.
By Friday, though. Because you don't want to, because Friday really the big parties. And you don't want to spin your wheels and burn your energy on Wednesday, Thursday. And now you sitting there, your hands shaking because you hot. Look, hey, man, ma'am, sir. Pace yourself.
You got to pace yourself.
And
that's when it comes to the alcohol. That's when it comes to
social media,
the social interactions, the postings. You got to just pace it because it's a marathon. It really is a marathon. And, I have seen people win. I've also seen people lose. But I think that the people who do best have an idea of how to space the week, right? Like you're saying, I can't do all the things.
You can't, man. And people want to. I mean, you really want to. But I would also say too is this may sound a bit maybe advanced, but figuring out where in relation to your next. Let's say you do want to do multiple parties,
right?
One, understand maybe some party may be hard to get into even if you got a ticket,
right?
So maybe you want to get to that one early, or maybe you want to save enough time till you get it to at a certain juncture before it becomes capacity. Because tickets don't mean automatic entry.
That's right.
Tickets mean that if you get to this party before capacity, then you can get in. But know that if there's a capacity of 500, they've probably given out 700 to 800 tickets.
Yes.
And so you want to be in the 500. So I mean, again, I think you should definitely choose wisely, but you also try, if the one party's around the corner from one another and you're trying to do a 2 hour span, hey man, spend an hour here,
That's
walk
right.
around the corner, spend an hour there,
That's
and
right.
then now that big party, now you go up to the big
That's
party.
right.
That's how you can do CBC.
What's the biggest ones on your radar for the week thus far?
Yeah, man. I think obviously the Nation
Yeah.
is gonna be up there. Corey and them from the Energy Group, man, the Light Party.
Light Party.
I gotta show love to Corey and them. I think the New York Party is one of them.
Yeah, that's a Ben production,
It's
right?
been production.
What?
It's one on Friday. Gotta highlight my folks from the Southern Company, man. So they got the one
Southern Co.
Yeah, Southern Co. And they'll be at the Kennedy Center at the Reach Auditorium, and so we'll probably go over there. And depending on how, if I'm still, I always get tickets to the Phoenix. So
the Phoenix Gala. The Phoenix Gala is the big
shebang when. They'll have the big wigs out there. If the Democratic president, they'll probably come down and say some words.
That's your black tie.
That's your black tie event.
Mm-hmm.
And because of Black with No Chasing, the work we do on Media Row, we get tickets every time to go there. But
you guys have, so Black with No Chaser has worked its way into the official. We are a credentialed media org. We are recognized by all of the major parties, and we get that media pass to set up. Yeah,
we made history when Kamala came to Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
We were the only black media company. I don't from you name it.
Yeah.
In Tyler Perry Studios at the time.
Roland didn't get the call. Roland Martin didn't get the call.
There was no Rollins there. There was not that I remember.
That's shady on my part. I should have took a shot at Roland.
No. But we love Roland, but I mean that wasn't no shade to any really black news outlet. I was just more so staying on business on what Black with No Chaser has done historically.
Yeah.
Is that we were the we shouldn't have been the only one.
That's right. I mean,
I just want to say that as well. But we were, if not the only one of the few. I mean, I don't remember seeing any other outlets represented out there.
Right.
So that was huge for us, and really started to show our journalistic prowess in terms of like what we were doing and being serious.
Yeah.
About journalism. It wasn't just like, oh, we some like social media company. Because I remember somebody hit me up one time like, oh, y'all that social media thing. And I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I like, check the receipts, man. We shut down Parchment Penitentiary for inhuman conditions, and our advocacy teamed up with Rock Nation and Until Freedom down in Mississippi. So in terms of like our advocacy work and our resume over the years, I mean, like, make no mistake about it. Like, hey, like we ain't no slouches, and this all from bootstraps.
Yeah,
this ain't no corporate backed dollars. This like legitimately, like, we funding our own organization with the dollars we have because we love the work we do.
It's important to elevate the work you're doing and recognize BWNC as a legitimate media company, because we have seen so many of these white outlets rise and sometimes fail, but sometimes succeed and become these extraordinarily profitable entities. But Black with No Chaser is a peer to BuzzFeed and Politico and Punchbowl News.
Check the impressions.
Check the impressions. And these guys launch new things all the time. And all of a sudden, they got senators and and they get all the mainstream coverage. But they're not talking to us in a way that you all are providing relevant information to us.
And that's when I goes to. Me and Vince, we spoke about this, and a couple of the folks that are still on the Hill about how we can organize our members of Congress to be featured more on Black with No Chaser, to give them a safe space to actually talk about, policy wins and what they're actually doing. A lot of times I hear from folks that are like on the outside looking in, hey, we don't really hear from our members, and our members meaning like black members of Congress.
That's right.
Specifically CBC. And I'm like, well, I always was like, hey, hold on now. Before we start talking about, what's not being done, I was like, check the record of a lot of these members. I said, because, politics is tricky.
Yes.
I was like, you don't understand what these folks go through on a day-to-day basis trying to hold court and hold seats down in Congress year in and year out, and every 2 years. That means every time you get elected, you actually running for office again. Right. It's tough for House members.
It's a constant.
It's a constant game. And I was like, y'all, we got to be careful around how we talk about our members. in the way that we not seeing enough.
That's right.
I was like, hold on, it's much being done.
That's right.
But
There's a
it's
lot
just
being
not,
done.
But they don't have, I feel like sometimes the platform, because when they get on MSNBC or Fox News, even though it's not adversarial on progressive news outlets, it still ain't hitting on what they really want to talk about.
It's not. It's not. At its best, it's not.
Yep.
Right. So look, man. Many congratulations, man. You have had your hand in so many different elements that, frankly, have been politics embedded and also politics adjacent. But you've always kind of had a lens on pushing the culture forward through your unique skill set, man. Whether it's Black with No Chaser, Social Golf Association, all of the stuff you've done, man. You've really changed
by
the
day,
game.
though, I would say that by day, I actually do government relations and regulatory affairs.
Yeah.
Most people do not even know that about me.
You're not just a social entrepreneur. So tell me about your advocacy practice, whether you're lobbying or GR or whatever
man,
it is.
GR, I do a ton of work on really more executive branch.
Yeah.
We don't do any lobbying. At least in terms of like traditional, like when you talk about lobbying to Congress and members of Congress, all executive branch, a lot of federal procurement work on regulatory affairs, and so that's the main bag, and I'm saying it because like I gotta start talking about this like work more sometimes, because I'd be like, man, I don't talk about it enough, because like sometimes I be trying to work my way out of GR work, but I enjoy it, but.
But that's the bread and butter, and that matters though.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anybody thinking they can just come out here and like be the fly guy. I mean, some people are doing that, and some people are succeeding.
But you got some substance, man.
Yeah.
Like you just can't be like, I'm relational. Like
Yeah.
I mean, that only goes so far, man. You gotta be some kind of subject matter expert
in
something.
Yes.
Like you gotta know, like, hey, if I go to this person, I know that from the executive branch side of things. And by the way, y'all, executive branch always mean the White House. Executive branch actually means departments and agencies. But when people say executive branch action, that falls under the purview of the executive branch.
That's right.
And so I want to be clear about that as well. It's not like we're going to the White House every single day talking to Donald Trump. But part of the game is that you might have to do work and actually work with the people who is in power at the current time. And so it doesn't matter. For my clients, don't care if it's Democrats or Republicans.
Right.
They just want points on the board.
They want points on the board. And I have had a hard time. We're 6 months into the Trump administration. We're halfway through the year. A little bit more than that. Through year one. And, I've spent this year trying to convince folks, if you have an agenda that you think matters for the communities that we serve out here, you don't have the right to pause that agenda for 4 years because Trump is here, right? Because
that's the time to actually like kick it up in high gear.
It is. Oh, and trade secret. There's a lot of deals to be made with Republicans in Congress and with this White House. Frankly, that maybe weren't able to be made under an Obama administration or a Biden-Harris administration.
That's true.
And so we can't, if you was doing something that matters to our communities, you can't afford to just pause it or concede it for the next 4 years because you say, well, we can't get it done under Trump.
Nah. There's always a way.
Yeah.
I think that like that's the gamesmanship of politics and being in this work, is that you, especially when you're in a consultant space, like, people don't care. Like I said, they don't care about all. Like, hey, I'm paying you retain. I'm paying you whatever.
I'm paying
it is.
you, to get results. Yeah.
So like, and sometimes the results is like letting them know. Like, and this is more so now. I don't get too much in GR work, but like sometimes that it is hey, we can't do it right now, but here's a pathway forward next. And so like, being a good consultant is also being informative on like what's to come.
Yeah.
And allowing your client to prepare for what's to come.
That's right.
And so whether it's tariffs or whether it's some regulatory issue within a particular agency, either way, like you need to be out in front of it and having ears to the ground on like what's happening, and that is no different than any space you try to work into in terms of the way DC works.
Yes.
Whether you're trying to be a social entrepreneur and you're trying to move out of it or whatever it is, like the more information you have at your disposal, the better.
I say it all the time, man.
Information is key.
yes. GR, lobbyist, consultant, whatever you want to call ourselves. We traffic in the commodity of information.
Absolutely,
right?
1000%.
And you hope it's specialized niche universe of information that you can get paid for. But your widget is, I know something that you need to pay me to share with you on a consistent basis, man.
Yeah.
Now, as we close, one of the things we do every week, particularly with vets like yourself, is I want to know who's coming next in the game. So from a elected official perspective or up-and-coming staffer or social entrepreneur, somebody who's doing some dope stuff out here in the broader game, tell me who you think got next.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I'll be remiss, man. It's a big race down in New Orleans right now. With Royce Duplessis is one of the candidates.
Yeah.
And
Royce the choice.
Royce the choice, man, rolling with Royce. So I would say, look, to me, if this video can come out, as somebody that's heavily backing this campaign, I would say Royce Duplessis, man. And look, I know Royce from a long time ago. I was one of the young folks that came up behind him. Me and his people went to school together, me and Randall, and so it feels like family almost.
Yeah.
And I would hate to say that Royce is up and coming.
Yeah.
But be as it may, New Orleans is still a major city, and to be mayor of the city, man, and it'll be a huge accomplishment for him. But I think the city of New Orleans needs a leader like Royce.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's personal for him.
Yeah.
And I think that I feel that.
20 years after Katrina, right? And it matters that we get somebody who has a vision for the future for those black communities who have been, so fundamentally altered, right? And I don't know that we've had that. Well, I mean, LaToya Cantrell, full respect to her.
Yeah.
Royce represents kind of a generational shift, though.
Absolutely.
And he's such an impressive young brother, lawyer. I've been connected with Royce for a minute through some mutual folks. But I really would like to see – he has some challenges because he got in late, but I really would like to see him win that race.
I think definitely a challenge, for him right now is getting to the runoff.
Yeah.
And, if he can we got 4 weeks until the general, and if he can kind of chip away, there's some hope in a December or whatever it is runoff election. And then so we'll see. It's tough because – I look at Oliver Thomas, and real quickly about this race is that I look at Oliver Thomas, man, and I know him as I was a kid.
Yeah.
These people, New Orleans is a very small city.
For sure.
And my mama was really big into politics. Congressman Jefferson, before he, departed from Congress, he used to come over to our house. That's how I grew up.
Yep.
And so, to have this moment, I think a shift in the guard. While I love the Oliver Thomases of the world and respect the work that he's done for the east of New Orleans and that in his district, I just feel like there needs to be a shift. It's like New Orleans can be very ancestral in a way, and like a lot of cities, and but I think Royce can be what the city needs. Again, the Helena Morenos of the world, not from New Orleans. I don't think New Orleans needs somebody not from New Orleans.
Right.
I think Royce is kind of cool place where he's never really did politics for real in New Orleans outside of being a staffer.
State rep, and a
staffer, but a state rep, but it's really more in Baton Rouge, not in New Orleans. So he kind of has this 38,000 feet perspective, and he can kind of bring that talent to the city and kind of expand on the work that's already been done and find the ways to build out a broader vision for New Orleans. And so I'm looking forward to what Royce can do.
I'm excited about Royce as well. I think that's a great answer to who got next. Royce is one of the guys who, I have spent a lot of time with the black mayors of the country, and Royce is just one of those guys who you're happy to see somebody with that level of talent who is actually from that city. That's his community. You're so happy to see folks like that step up, right? Because you got a young, beautiful family. You got all the earning potential in the world. I saw the brother attacking him and harassing him and his family at church a couple of weeks ago. That was horrible. And so, you really are...
Byron, man. Byron is his name, man. Byron is his name, man.
Yeah. But you really do subject yourself to a lot of sacrifice in the name of just wanting to serve. And nobody's perfect. I'm sure Royce is not. But when I look at the landscape of across the country, who are the guys and gals I know who I would you know what? Their hometown would be in good hands with them. And it happens to be a major city, which still matters to the culture.
Absolutely.
Royce is top of that tier of yeah, man, these are the type of people we should want in the game.
Yeah, man. Last thing I'll say, because you see a lot, bro. Even though I've been away from New Orleans majority of my adult life, if not all of it, when you see folks trying to change noise ordinances in the French Quarter.
Yeah.
And shift the culture.
Yeah.
And like you know it's by people that have been transplants that came there, like knowing that this was already the case.
That's right.
We gotta like while we're trying to expand on what New Orleans can be to the world, like we need to have a staple. Somebody that's born and bred.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about 2600 and AP Turo. That's where, St. Augustine High School.
Okay, yeah.
So when they say,
Purple Knights.
Purple Knights, man, but like we need staples.
Yeah.
And because just like the fabric of democracy is like tethering away as we speak, right, in front of our eyes, our culture in the world is being tethered away, like bit by bit. And so a Royce now can be an anchor and then come back to the city and then lead the city in a way that feels like very native and natural for what it should be. Yeah.
And that's so true, but so much of it also comes down to like, hey, who can we trust is going to care about those of us who actually are from here and built this and have sustained this. Who can we trust to have an eye and a heart for those people's needs, right? Not just here for developers and not just here for the people who would just as soon have all of this entirely gentrified, colonized, if you will.
Yeah.
And when you look at these cities, so much, all of Frank Scott and a Little Rock, right? Melvin Carter in Minnesota, who can we trust understands our culture? And culture means more to New Orleans than maybe anywhere else in the world, right?
Sure. I mean,
and that's why it matters so much that you have the Royces and the talented folks who are no longer baby professionals, right? To step up and make that sacrifice to stay back in public service, man. Even in the face of the Byrons of the world.
I mean, but even he shifted his tune lately about how we view Royce, because Royce was somebody he felt like he could call.
Good.
So even in disagreement, he was like, at least I know I can touch Royce.
Because let me tell you who you can't touch.
You ain't gonna be able to touch, and like
That's
you can't touch anybody else that's running on that race right now, especially Helena Moreno. And and I can speak very candidly about that. And so it's like, to me, I think that's right.
Yeah.
You want to have somebody that even though we're in disagreement with.
Yeah, man. Oh, dude.
I can actually, you a phone call away or a text away or an email away or a town hall away. Well, guess what? I could come in and voice my opinion and be heard.
That it matters so much, man. And so many of these cities, these blackish former black cities, are in such similar situations. I've known Tashara Jones, mayor of my hometown, former mayor of my hometown, my whole life. And
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Now,
I've known Tashara. You know Tashara.
We did GVP work. So
yes.
And
we've known Tashara.
Advocate, big time.
She's amazing, and we've known her our whole life. Now, granted, she and I have had some pretty significant disagreements over the course of the last year, but when the tornado destroys North St. Louis like it did on May 16th of this year, who can I count on, right? Who can we count on is going to make sure that the North Side is given the adequate resource. Because I'm going to tell you who it's not. It's not Cara Spencer, right? So even if I have disagreements with Tashara, I would rather see her in that seat at critical times for our people than the current mayor, who I don't know, I can't touch, but from all accounts, objectively, it doesn't look like the North Side is properly recovering under her, right? And it's like this stuff doesn't matter until it matters, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And there will be times to govern. There will be times over the course of a 4-year period where you're gonna wish you had somebody in there who you and I could touch on behalf of our people, right? And the people that we represent, man.
That's right.
And you see it in real time when things happen, like a Katrina, or frankly the tornado in St. Louis 5 months ago, which has the potential to be as generationally transformative in not a good way for St. Louis as Katrina was for New Orleans.
Yeah. And man, shout out to New Orleans, man. Such a resilient city.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the documentary and it really was like, I was at FAMU at the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like I went through it again.
Yeah.
And even still I didn't realize.
That's right.
And it made me just like think back, like, man, like my uncle passed away evacuating. I had people who lost touch with their parents for days on end.
Yeah.
Because they just got separated.
Yeah.
And so it was as even my thoughts about it, I still feel like that documentary, I was like, it's even worse than what I thought.
For sure.
It's worse than what I actually imagined. So I'm like, man, like to see that. And again, man, I just still praying for the families who were affected by Katrina. Cause bro, like families are torn apart. People lost lives. Thousands of people, displaced. And
for sure.
And our city still is rebuilding from Katrina.
There are black people in Utah and obviously Houston, but Arizona, that will never come back, right?
Never.
And it was fundamentally demographically shifting, but it matters like who's in leadership at these places at these times, right? Because something is guaranteed to happen where we want people in these spaces that we know care about and will step up for the constituents we serve. But look, man, you're a DC legend, bro.
Hey, man,
you should be celebrated, man.
Coming from you, man. I appreciate that, man.
You got it, brother. And thank you for all you've done, man. Social Golf Association, Black with No Chaser, your private practice. Tell them where they can find you and what's the best way to watch all the things you got going in the Monego Empire.
Oh, yeah, man. Look, first and foremost, you can follow me. It's just first and last name, the number 3. So CIRILOMANEGO 3 across all social media platforms. And then, of course, Black with No Chaser across all social media platforms. Yeah. Social Golf Association. We just on IG and just got on TikTok. We're a young lord.
Yeah.
But we building every single day.
But you certified, USGA certified.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And one thing I will say I love about SGA is that, man, we are about 60% black women now in terms of demographic over men, and in a very vibrant community, and I'm very excited about where that community of golfers is gonna take SGA, because quite frankly, like they came in troves, and now we over here trying to figure out exactly like, well, damn, how do we now shift focus to make sure that group of golfers are getting the attention and care it deserves. And so that's been a good challenge for us. But I'm looking forward to what the rest of 2025 is going to bring. We have our second annual The Scramble Tournament and Networking Brunch with Congressman Troy Carter, Congressman Cleo Fields, and also Congressman Andre Carson at the event. Also, Hill staff is celebrating all Black Hill staff organizations.
Yeah,
so like everybody's being celebrated at our golf tournament on Tuesday. So looking forward to that many, many years to come, man.
That's what's up. Cirilo Manego, the youngest of the DC legends.
Not even 40 yet. Not 40 yet. Not yet.
All time DC 40 under 40. Cirilo Manego III. Appreciate having you, brother. This is the Caucus Room. This is the Sip. It's CBC week. Y'all be careful out there. And we'll see you soon.
Peace.